Alright, listen. We gotta talk. I see all this news about Aurora, Colorado. I lived there. I lived there a year ago. Almost to the date. I lived there for several years, actually. I lived in Lakewood. I lived in Littleton. I lived in Cherry Creek. And I lived in Aurora. I lived all over Denver. Aurora was the worst place I've lived my entire life. I've lived all over Colorado. I've lived in Pueblo. I've lived in Springs. I've lived on the south side of Springs, Platte and Murray, that area. I've lived in a truck in the middle of winter through blizzards. In the back in a camper. Okay? I've never experienced anything worse than Aurora, Colorado. You think this is an accident? Or you think this is just some thing that happened? Oh no, they wanted it, they invited it, they have been doing it for a long time. In the 2 years that I spent in Aurora, I fought off homeless vagrants, I fought off drug dealers, I fought off predators and pedophiles and the like. They would come to apartment complexes just a few blocks away from where all of you on the internet are talking about what's going on now. I have seen it, I have dealt with it, I have chased it off, and at one point I realized it was going to keep coming and coming every time, and I'm a little bit insane, because I would chase it off and not think about the repercussions. You know, there's a chance that I might not come back in after going out there to confront somebody, and I didn't put too much weight into that. Maybe that was stupid, but I chased them off. But at some point I realized, for every illegal, for every homeless vagrant, for every drug addict, for every drug dealer that I had to run out of this neighborhood that I was living in, which, by the way, Edget Fitzsimmons and your management is a corrupt pile of shit. They've worked specifically with Waltz Towing, and they exploit the shit out of people. But Edget Lowry is the same company. There's several out there, okay, that exploit people out there. And, you know, they can't think of the word of it right now. Gentrification. They come in, they slap new paint on it, they put wood floor down, fake wood floor, and they make it seem nice. They raise the rent, and they move people in to already shitty neighborhoods, but they make it seem like it's a nice place, right? I've seen some shit while I was in Aurora. I've seen some fucked up shit while I was out there, let's just be honest. And I'm telling you right now that what you're hearing, first of all, I've never been in a biker gang. Never will be. I've met a few over the years. That ain't happening. I don't know who told you, where this rumor got started. That ain't happening. The police, that ain't gonna happen. I remember there was one day I was out there. This dude came flying through, had to have been on something. Came flying through a parking lot, kids playing in the parking lot, and he was slamming into fences, hit a couple cars, did a bunch of donuts, blew up the tires, and abandoned a car. I called the police because he'd almost hit some children out there, right? They didn't show up for 3 days, and they didn't even tow away the car. There were drug addicts out there. You'd call. They didn't do anything. I remember one night I had to chase off a dude that was assaulting, possibly sexually assaulting. I couldn't tell. She was all ripped up. She ran in her house, but I had to chase this dude off. I called the cops again. They never showed up. So there was an actual potential, I don't know, at minimum assault At maximum, who knows? Dude, it was ugly. Attempted homicide. She was all bloody. Her clothes were all ripped. It was bad. Cops didn't do nothing. I've watched Denver, Lakewood. I've watched it all fall apart. I lived up there for almost a decade in total. Aurora was only a short stint because I couldn't take it anymore. People say, oh, it's still safe down there. It's still fine down there. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. I don't know who pays them to make the comments on social media saying it's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. 16th Street Mall, the skyscrapers down there. People, I've worked everywhere. I was a courier, so I've delivered everywhere. I've delivered Commerce City. I've delivered to the biggest skyscrapers out there. Lawyers, out here in Colorado, there's Frank Azar. I've dealt with Frank Azar's offices all over Colorado. I've delivered to just about any company you can think out here, whether it's a Target or seafood companies or Stanley Hotel. I've delivered for all of them. I've been inside all of those restaurants, all of those buildings. I've been everywhere, through the back alleys of downtown, everything. I will tell you, it's not safe. I will tell you that the people that work in those high-rises have people escort them out at night because they can't go out without fearing for their lives. I know nurses up there that go from home to home that are terrified because of what they experience on their shifts. I've seen it all. It's not just Aurora. It's this government. And it's not just Colorado's government. It's this government. Colorado's just, I would say, Denver, that area. Denver being the big chunk on the map with Commerce City and Littleton and Cherry Creek and, Aurora and Westminster. That's all just Denver. It's just fancy little sections that get their own name. It's all Denver. It's just an experiment. They don't allow open carry. They're very strict on their gun laws. They're very liberal. They're very radical socialist in their ideas. That includes Boulder out there. This shit's coming everywhere. Everywhere that's blue right now, you're going to see more of this. And if you think for a second that some motorcycle gang's going to come and save you from this, it's not. If you think the police are going to save you from this, like I said, I call on an active, at least assault, potential sexual assault, maybe even a homicide went wrong. Dude ran off. I couldn't catch him. She ran inside, and I didn't want to confront her. That was already, fucked up enough. I'm not gonna. It was just a fucked up situation. And in this neighborhood, it was like they didn't want you to talk to them, even if they were a victim. Like it's that fucked up of a place. I moved there because they gentrified the neighborhood. Made it seem like it was great when it wasn't. You know how that goes. And there's so many fucked up apartments out there that do that. Scummy place. And they allow the dirtiest of crooks to run these places. Not just the apartments, the government, all of it. Cops don't care. They don't show up for nothing. They don't show up for shit. Somebody has to be like shot or stabbed and dead in your parking lot. Yeah, I've experienced that. For somebody to show up. The motorcycle gangs aren't coming to save you. Neither the cops, neither your government. And that doesn't just apply to Colorado. It applies across the country. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You are going to start standing up. You are going to start correcting the wrongs. You are going to make the change, or we're fucked. You're going to stop your corrupt government. You. Not somebody else. There are no heroes. There are no saviors. That's a myth. That's something for fairy tales and Marvel movies, right? That's it. If you don't start doing something, what you see in Aurora will be all across this country soon. Mark my words. You're going to fix this. You are going to fix this. Or we're fucked. Quit fucking pretending. And quit fucking praying for somebody else to save you from your problems. You created this mess by not doing anything to begin with. These messes are here because you allowed corrupt governments to take control of your lives, your neighborhoods, your apartment complexes, your cities, your towns, your taxes. You're going to fix this, or we're going to all sink in this together.